When I first played the Rogue Command a few years ago, I already knew its 2D devs had a great new RTS idea on their hands. But now, as they launched their full version on Steam just a few days ago, its fantastic and original type of single player earned them a 92 positive rating, confirming my first impressions. This also coincides with your own thoughts about single player expressed in this poll, and this one, and this one. Single player is the king of RTS games. It's what most of the player base wants and what most of the player base plays, which is why you won't find any multiplayer in Rogue Command, but I do agree with other players that co-op would have been a wonderful addition to this one. One thing which polls on my channel also show is that sci-fi is the top beloved theme for RTS games, which is probably part of the reason Rogue Command has such a great reception with our fellow RTS fans. Oh, and it's sold with a release discount of 30% until the 28th of May. So, if it doesn't have a normal storytelling campaign or any kind of multiplayer, what is the single player all about? Well, as I said, it is kind of a novel idea called Roguelite build crafting implemented into the normal base building, resource collection and unit recruitment. In addition, similar to bar or subcom, you have an engineer. This is your most valuable unit, which can call down buildings, but if you lose it a few times, you lose the run. What this means in practice is that you can mix and match units from a large roster into a compact shortlist for each new mission, choosing specifically the units you enjoy playing with the most. When you get new blueprints, your engineer's construction database gets updated with new unit factories, or defensive turrets, or possibly healing spires or even super weapons. Then you have upgrades which modify these blueprints. These can be simple, as in just making units stronger, but more interestingly they can add new traits to your units, allowing for synergies with other ones, like adding burn damage to their attacks or letting them burst into skittering exploding sprawlings when they die. This brings the creative freedom of making your own builds and the joy of seeing them succeed, like in Slay the Spire for example, into the RTS genre, and it works surprisingly well. Another unique feature in the RTS are map conditions, which can suddenly shift, like how a sandstorm disables all shields of units, a sandstorm diminishes the range at which units can attack, or how thunderstorms extinguish fires. While its demos and early access already provided players with a lot of variety in units and buildings, reaching up to 150 in total, this full release also has some noteworthy new additions. First among these is the new third specialist called the Castle. It is a powerful defensive structure which allows you to rain down destruction all across the map with its powerful global ability. If you have an RTS turtle inside of you, you and the castle are going to become fast friends. In addition to that, there are 5 new bosses to beat, as well as 5 new ascensions which are introducing a bunch of new enemy units and variants, along with the final boss right at the heart of the Planetary Core Extraction Corporation threat, which is your archenemy in this game. If you haven't played it much during the early access period, here is a small rundown of what was changed or added. Rogue Command now features a whole new metagame layer that allows you to earn persistent upgrades between runs. There are several new specialists which bring with them new playstyles for you to explore, but also new enemies and greatly improved AI behavior to keep the game challenging. For those who don't know, those specialists are the foundation of your build and capable fighters in combat. Each specialist modifies the gameplay in some way with unique specialist hacks. These are powerful tech relics and can change a status effect, for example making burning enemies flee or adding a healing effect to teleports. Both UI and UX were improved and a smart tutorial system added to make it more accessible to totally new players, while most experienced players can test their mettle in the heat levels, which introduced an infinitely scaling endgame. I particularly have to commend the responsiveness of units in Rogue Command and the great relationship between unit size, its speed and power. Even if it is a single player only game, these devs worked on making sure to balance these units for us to get the right feel between them. Considering this was the very first PC game these two indie devs created under the studio name Fennec, I think they have a lot of talent and hope to see more of their games in the future. They have been working together for more than 10 years and on this game from 2019, while they have a wealth of experience from other past projects. I know some of you might be disappointed there aren't characters and stories to follow or a handmade campaign to play through. But in my own experience with the roguelike mission by mission system, the progression is quite satisfactory, especially with such a low price for the game. You can turtle up, or rush, or expand slowly over the map, which always has several resource fields of crystals you can take over, harvest and keep on producing units. You can tell me your preferred gameplay style in this or other RTS games in the comments below. Additionally, the game is amazing at teaching you RTS gameplay basics step by step, as it limits how many units you can recruit from specialized buildings, and which have specific abilities you can trigger. By doing so, you are forced to learn to construct multiple unit recruitment buildings of the same type, and also to expand your resource income with new crystal fields to have enough resources to keep all those buildings producing new units. Likewise, scouting maps is very important and the game both reminds you of it and rewards you for it. You can find resource stashes and special buildings which when captured give you specific buffs or even more possible unlocks at the tech tree between missions. The only issue I had with these is that they aren't marked in any special way, nor do you have an in-game announcer who can tell you of their discovery, so you can easily miss them and not take advantage of their bonuses. By the way, environmental objects can be destroyed in this game by using the attack command with units, so it is possible to open up paths which would be otherwise untraversable by units. Resource collectors also have an ability in this game, and that one allows them to spawn smaller versions of themselves to boost resource collection for a short time. It does take a few missions to expand both your arsenal of units and to incorporate new global and individual abilities into your build. But once you go through a few upgrade trees after each mission, you'll be able to boost units with each other's abilities and individual passive boosts on top of drops which act as global abilities you can trigger once per mission. This is where the time slowdown helps, so you can pick your targets or drops or unit abilities more carefully. In my own run, I managed to collect half a dozen of these before finishing even half a run, including those which give my units shields, boost a single unit, or recharge each unit's mana that is used for unit abilities. Mana, I know, a very odd choice for calling something in a sci-fi game. This is just one of several elements which could be improved, even with the game having a good number of quality of life features, like being able to select all your unit production buildings with the tab key and produce units from the bottom bar. As you will notice while watching, I was able to collect a sort of currency while using the tech tree in between missions, so you can choose to enter the shop as one of the possible tech unlocks / mission rewards. It is there that I was able to spend those coins and pick and choose between a variety of possible upgrades and unlocks for my run. Visually, the game is not stunning, but it does have its own particular style and art direction. The maps can feel small, but they do have great variety in terrain and biomes. The gameplay is designed to give you bite-sized missions and let you experience each new unit combo for a short time, preventing something I often felt in many RTS games, and that is gameplay fatigue. Because when you have to start each new mission from scratch, build up both your base and army and go on a prolonged conquest or annihilation of enemy, it can become boring after a while. But in a long string of smaller and more compact missions, where units and abilities you can use change over time, this fatigue does not have time to set in. I think this is an amazing gameplay design, and while as I said it isn't bursting with additional content, past a huge variety of units and abilities, it has its own charm, which makes it worth playing. I hope you agree and will give Rogue Command full version at least a few playthroughs. Link to its Steam store page is in the description, as there are links to more of my videos about other new RTS games. Thank you for watching and happy gaming!